Morning Racer Cafe. A little chilly day in the garage in Jacksonville, Florida. It was 32 degrees last night, so my garage doesn't have heat, so I had to wait for it to warm up a little bit. But today's project, we're working on a Polaris Slingshot. Nothing too crazy, but the battery's dead in it, or it's been going dead, and the owner, my neighbor, doesn't have a tender line hooked to it yet. So for now, we're just gonna get the battery started and see if maybe she's gonna buy the part, bring it by while I have it apart, and then we'll get it fixed up. But that's the project for today. Some prior projects I have are sitting behind me. Got a little 110, I think it's a 110cc dirt bike. There's also a little small 50 or 49cc mini bike that's in there. Both belong to my neighbors. We got them up and running recently. They needed some minor repair, so their kids can get them out and rip around the neighborhood and terrorize all the local neighbors on the sidewalks and the streets. So let's get started. Got my cup of coffee ready to go, and make sure that you like, subscribe, and share the video. Let's get started. Here we have the back end of the Slingshot, driver's side. The battery is located behind this panel, so it's a combination of taking the bolts and the fasteners out of the panel here, and then also this bottom trim piece here. Top panel takes a T20 Torx bit, and the bottom takes a T40. We'll get those taken off, and then we're gonna hook up, for now, just some alligator clips just to get the battery charged, get it up and running, and then hopefully hook a tender line to it so that we can charge it a lot easier and not have to take this panel off every time. So get going here. It's one of the tips I find for taking parts out. Take these small screws, Torx pieces, get yourself a nice magnetic parts holder. I got it right on an ammo can there. Throw in the nuts, bolts in there. Anytime you throw something in there, it sticks right there. You find it easy. If you don't have something like that, guess where it goes? It rolls completely underneath, right to the middle where you can't get it. So save yourself some time. Get yourself a magnetic part. All right, so here we got the cover off. The lower cover is completely taken off. You can see the battery in there. And then this cover here is just loosened up just so we can get in there, get our alligator clips. As you can see, there's not a lot of room to work in there. So a little tight space, but for now, we're just gonna get the charger clips put on there so we can get the battery started. But pretty easy job so far. Just gotta make sure you get in there and don't lose all your little mini parts. All right, so now we got the alligator clips on there. We're gonna let that battery charge. It's my first time working on a Slingshot. First time ever really getting to drive one, or should say push it into the garage and see one up close personal. So I guess you call this an auto cycle is what they're legally called. And the states that we have here, you're required to wear a helmet with them if you have helmet laws. But if you don't, like here in Florida, you don't have to wear one, but they're pretty cool. Like a little go-kart on the road, pretty fast, pretty nimble. And some people like them, really enjoy them, trick them out. But you know, there's always that rift between the motorcycle riders and the Slingshot riders of, you know, is this really a motorcycle? Whenever we go on group rides, you know, do we include them? I don't know. What's your opinion? Tell me. Working on it for the neighbors, at least get it going. I'm happy to work on it and get to check it out in person. So previously mentioned, got this little dirt bike here, worked on it the other day. Neighbor brought it in, rear tire was locked up, so they wanted to get it fixed and couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. And after riding it around a little bit, I realized that the brake caliper was completely hot and that the rear brake was actually, the caliper was actually compressed and locked on the wheel. So no wonder it didn't roll very well. So it's like riding around with the parking brake on. So we got that fixed. Just a matter of adjusting the brake lever connector there. The silver piece, for some reason, it was down really, really far. And the brake lever was essentially up in the air, engaging the rear brake all the time. So I'm not sure how it got down all that way, because it would have had to have been purposely put there. So anyways, so got that fixed the other day. So now this thing rips around. I think it's a 110, but I think the owner said that they did some engine work to it. They got a little extra open air filter in there. I think they did an air box delete. It may be tuned up a little bit. So I think he said it's like a 125, but I didn't rip around on it. It's pretty fast. And then here's the little guy, little mean green machine. They brought that over. The chain kept popping on it, and the rear chain, the rear wheel, the adjustment bolts were not where they needed to be. So, and it wasn't aligned right. So now everything's tight and it runs fine. And the little tyke that rips around on it really enjoys it. So happy to get that going. And on to the next project, which is working on the Bonneville and the Scrambler. Got a couple bikes in here too, so that's a rainy day project, working on them. So while the battery is charging on the Slingshot, kind of messing around a little bit, checking this thing out, trying to get an idea of what they're all about. So realize that there's also an easier way to get to charge it, to jumpstart it, rather than doing this process. But it's good to know, in case you need to change the battery, that if you pop the hood, get up here to the engine, it doesn't look like a motorcycle engine, so I'd say it's a car. But anyways, right here by the air intake, in where the alternator is, down in here, little red cover. Take that red cover off. Yes, and that gets you to a charging post. And you can hook a jumper cable to that, and then you find just any metal connector to hook your ground to. So that's how you jump start the Slingshot if you need to, or if you need to jump start somebody else and you have your Slingshot, that's how you get to, the easiest way to get directly to the battery. So again, that little red piece there next to the alternator. So good to know. The hoods on this, the front clip is definitely a little heavy. On this one, it's got two projector headlight beams. There's a lever in there that disconnects these latches on each side. Took me a little time. I think I had to like push up, push down, wiggle it around a little bit. The front clip on this one actually lifts up before you roll it forward. So it's just not a easy lift, but definitely interesting. I'm gonna check out a few more things with this just to kind of get an idea of what they're all about. Once I get it charged up, and I think there was a check engine light, so I'm trying to figure out eventually how to diagnose that, but we'll see if it comes on. Otherwise, get it charged up, throw a splash of gas in it, and maybe take it for a little ride around the neighborhood, because it is kind of an interesting little toy, so check it out. All right, so we got the cover back on, covered up the battery. Everything's tight and put back into place. And I moved the charger up into the engine bay, where we talked about, just so I could get that taken care of in the back side so we can get everything done. And again, the jumper cables are down in there. See the red handles, and I've got a negative over there and onto the ground over there. So one of the things I did find out is on the back here, the owner actually has a sound bar hooked up in the back, and there's a plug right there for the battery tender that goes directly to the battery. If you connect those, then the sound bar is able to turn on. So that could be one of the reasons why the battery maybe was drained. Maybe the sound bar was never turned off properly. I don't know, that's speculation on my part, but at least realize that there is a direct connector that I can let her know that she's got a pigtail that goes directly to the battery. Now I have noticed that the battery tender has been on for quite a while now, and it's still charging. And the light on the tender is still showing red, and it's pretty warm to the touch. So I would have thought that this small battery would have been charged by now. It's been on for quite a while, but if it's not, it's a possibility then that this battery is bad and possibly not going to take a full charge. It might charge up enough to run it, but it might have a bad cell or something in it. So I'll have to tell the owner that and see what she wants to do. So anyway, so we're gonna get this cleaned up and gonna take it out for a little ride around the neighborhood and see how it rides. And go from there. All right, so we've got Slingshot put all back together. Now we're gonna take it out for a ride, see if the battery wants to charge up a little bit. I ran it a little bit ago. The check engine light's gone, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with that, but we'll give it a start and we'll get everything going and figure out how to get this. There we go. All right, so good news. Got the Slingshot all up and running. Everything runs great. Check engine light's gone. Cleared itself. Not really sure what it was, but maybe it's just because of battery issue. So battery seems to be charged for now. Put it on a tender and keep checking it overnight. But I have a feeling that the battery is probably shot, so it's not going to hold a charge. But we'll see. But anyways, great little vehicle. Sorry I didn't have a drive along video. I don't really have a way to mount the phone yet, but we'll get to that. But anyway, so thanks for joining the channel, the Racer Cafe. So check in, make sure that you like, subscribe, and set your notifications so that you get all new content. So we'll see you next time.